Okay, welcome guys to another little video that we got going on here. Now today's video and this one is going to be over build mode. As of right now and everything, in this little batch of videos that I'm going to be making, we are going to be able to do this, click on this for an upgrade, and if we don't have the upgrade actually unlocked, then we have to research it. This will eventually blank out this little square, then we blank out this little square. This will run regardless, okay? But once it's done, it'll pop up the content browser. Cool beans. Now we have the upgrade actually available to us. So we can buy the upgrade, and the upgrade just loops onto itself. So we don't have like anything too much. This is the research. We can't research anymore because I haven't added more content to that. Now the next one is going to be testing for our next iteration through deterrents. Deterrents, my plan is going to, each turret type is going to require a certain type to be able to shoot. Like this turret right here will take lead bullets. When we're out of lead bullets, they'll quit firing. We'll probably get some form of a message, maybe. Like maybe a little warning down here for the user, we are out of lead bullets. We need lead bullets. Stuff like that. And look, not enough resources. It might be hard for you to see right here, but as I keep clicking, it keeps saying not enough resources. Maybe I'll have it down here. That's probably what will end up happening, but it says not enough resources. Okay, this pop-up window can be anywhere. You can put it anywhere you want. We've got cash here, so we can spend our cash. Boom, 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 boom. Asset, and look, even with recording, I'm still getting relatively good frames, 60. I mean, the turrets don't do anything yet, they're just geometry. But for the most part, we can do upgrades, and if we click, we can also sell them and get some of our money back. We don't get any of our money back. Now that is just a function that you can override and let them get all of the money back, but I divided it by, I think, like half. You only get half your money back, and I thought that would be a good game balance, because the whole point of this tower defense tutorial is to get you used to making scripts that do one specific thing and interact with the system. That way you can write logic for one specific case or like multiple cases. You know, it would be nice if I could just like, you know, drag the screen and make a big old box and then like click. But, you know, that's a little bit more on the other side of things, as in a little bit more advanced, and then it gets more like RTS. And how could you multiple select and bulk upgrade stuff, right? It just didn't make sense to me. Now, on this function for this, you see how this panel is up? If I click on something else, I've also got code to disable that window. So I could keep clicking and it'll keep on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Okay? But if I click anywhere in this window or anywhere in this, or anywhere that's a UI, it doesn't close. But if I click on these, it changes my state, so it doesn't really matter. But the idea is I'm going to have, this is a shop button right here. Doesn't have graphics or the text yet, but it's getting there. And we can, then we'll be able to just buy lead bullets. And they'll cost certain materials that we have in the game. As an example, lead bullets require lead. So in the shop, I've got lead here, and build lead, the amount cache and the amount of lead that I need. If I put this to 0, I can build infinite amount of lead as I want, right? And this is all controlled by this button here, okay? This specific case, okay? Now, when I build onto our building menu, which is right here, we've got this T1 stage 1 clone, okay? Push builder object. We've got an object here, a cost scriptable object, and then, hey there, silly guy, which could be a hover object, which I haven't done a hover thing yet, but it's not exactly too difficult. I've got a little messenger window. Remember all the little stuff that we had here? Let's get here and see how it keeps adding this, and then it keeps deleting it as time passes. You can control the speed of this all you want. It's a variable that is in the script, not in this script. It is in the main script on the event system. You'll see this behavior right here, and everything's going to be exactly like that. See, we got the message timer right here. Is if there's any messages in the queue, which I use the queue for, it's very simple. You'll like almost I don't know how to put it, but as long as there's a message in the queue, this timer will continue to run down, and then it should stop. Actually, I'll take a look at that probably later on. So let's get into our little build mode script here, and the buttons that are involved in this. Now, there will be scripts that you don't have access to yet, which is fine, but okay, this right here doesn't have to be here. I did this just for a visual thing with this enum. You can always change that to something else, okay? This panel object, we probably already went through, but let's go through it again, okay? Because it's very easy. Resources, game mode, modes, shop button. Okay, panel object. We are going to go into, let's go seek definition, and this is all panel object is right there. That's it. I mean, very simple. Now let's go into the base build object. Let's embiggen this real quick. Whoop. That's it. That's the whole script right there of panel object. Okay. Then go to definition, and we will get this one again. This is a very simple script as well. Base object mono behavior, on update, and on fixed. Okay. Make sure that you put the on update. These are functions to be called. I only name them that so that I know this is what I need to call. This is an update method, and this is a fixed update method. Okay, very important. So you have that, okay, because every mode inherits from this, okay, and you need all these namespaces: collections, engines, generic, because we use lists, and that's in the generic namespace. We probably could get away with not having collections there, but I left it there. This enum is not required to be here. You do not have to have this enum. This is just for visual things, okay? This is a static reference. That's it. And then we have integers. Very basic. A game object. and a cost amount. Current cost. These right here are for, let's go to current cost, and this is a scriptable object, okay? And all this is required, generics and all, okay? I'm surprised I'm not required to have the Unity thing here. That's actually quite shocking. But we have cost, an upgrade object, an icon, and 2 updates and an update key. Don't need this, we'll delete that. Now, get research cost returns cost times by 1 times by whatever value you want. This is when we go to research this, which I don't know if any functions are actually even using this. It's quite interesting. Sell amount. Remember I said I divided it just by the cost? There it is. Because I don't want to put another variable up here. So I just do a public float getter. Just get it. And then has enough is for money. Okay? Which we'll get to that script in plenty of time. But, this is one of the things right here. And we pass it the cost amount item. Okay? If you don't have this script, all you got to do is make sure you type this out and comment it out. Okay? We will be getting to it. It's a large series of videos because there's a lot of little tiny scripts in here. But they all do wonderful things. Now, this is how the upgrade is spawned. When we upgrade our item, we call this function right here. See how I got this build object? This is universal for a lot of our things. If upgrade is not null, then money.cost, we pass it that object or game object we want to instantiate, and then the position is the same as this position. Okay, and then we destroy this object, our old object. This is just a script, okay, but it's so universal that we can use pretty much a lot of things. Okay, so this is our upgrade method. Like I said, in this right here, you can cross this out because we're going to do money pretty soon. Maybe not in this video because I don't want it to be 10 years too long, right? And we will, and this is sell, and we give it build object ob, the money script, sell amount, and we pass it the cost object. We passed it ourselves because this is a scriptable object, so it's something that we can cast to. Then because we're selling, this gives us money, and this will destroy ourselves. So this build object, we are going to destroy it and just, make the old stuff go away. Okay, so that is cost, and we just have a list of just strings. And then here's the complicated part about it. We have a asset bundle, okay? In our start method, we have game behavior, switch state. We pass it this, okay? This method is used to switch it to this very state right here, okay? We're going to pass it this for ourselves right now because the default behavior we want is the building state. Okay, when the game starts, we start off in the building state. Now builder, our static reference, equals this, and then we start a coroutine. Okay, get asset is the method name, and then we type in application.streamAndAssetPath. This is very important right here. Application.streamingAssets is a folder in here. Okay, it's in the root of your thing, and it's spelled exactly like this: streaming assets. Okay, if you put a lowercase here or misspell this in any way, it will error out every time. So to make sure that you don't spell this incorrectly, delete path, and you see, and highlight this all right here, copy it, okay, and the only thing that you have to change is the capital letter on the S. You have to change the S to a capital for streaming assets, and you've got it for the folder name. If you don't know how to spell it correctly and everything else, that's the easiest way that I know of to have it, and it's got to be spelled exactly that way. An application has to be there as well. So in this enumeration right here, we are doing get asset string URL. So we're passing streaming assets like this because it returns a string. Okay, it returns the file location with all the dashes and all the good stuff that we need to the exact folder. Okay, so while asset is null, which is our variable for our asset bundle, and then we give it a name because we're generating this. We go asset bundle.load from file URL plus this string right here. This string is /builder because that's the name of my asset bundle that's sitting inside of my streaming asset folder. Okay, that's exactly what needs to happen right there. Okay, and it has to be spelled exactly correctly here for it to find it. Then we go yield return new end of frame, then asset equals downloaded asset, which is right here, and then outside this brace right here for the while loop, we do initial spawn. Okay, and we always want default something to start with, right? Your beginning assets, which right here is add button, add build asset, and then we give it a string. This string is in detail to a prefab here. So this prefab right here, and it should not be, where is the, oh yeah, it's right here, this prefab. Okay, it's not going to give me, down here right next to this window here, it may be hard to see in the video, this window. Okay, there's a little thing that says asset bundle right here. And remember me saying builder is very important? Well, that's the asset bundle that you're going to have it on. But this is the name of the product of the instantiation. So we're going to go in here. We're going to put this as your button that you want to instantiate. We're going to put that part of the bundle inside of our asset bundle. Okay? Very important. What the crap is that? Oh, it's something to do with Unity. Okay. This is the product name that we're going to have. This has to exist inside of the asset bundle. Now, it's not enough to just do that, okay? To go down here, do this, and then put it part of the asset bundle. I mean, a little clicky. You'll type new, and then you'll make a name. Okay, you actually have to make a button for it, which will probably be in the next video, or maybe this one. How are we in time? About 20 minutes. I doubt if it'll make it into this one. So I'll probably make a short video that'll post at the same time as this. Now, static bool is taken key, and this is doing nothing but seeing if this key is inside of our list, okay? Because the list is not public, because I don't want to like directly do anything with this. I want functions to manipulate my list, okay? Because I need it to add buttons and stuff. So if it contains it, then go, hey, guess what? We return true. Because this is a bool statement, you return true or false. So if this if statement never returns true, then it automatically just skips this if and goes to false. Okay? So now we're down here to my awesome add button assets. Okay? So this is a regular function. Okay? But remember this. We compare it false. If we don't have this string inside of our list, then we go to the list and we add it. But in the meantime, we instantiate a prefab. Now you see this asset.load asset? This is a function for the asset bundle. This is coming from our bundle. So we can use this string right here to load from our asset bundle. Okay? Because to take something out of the asset bundle, you have to give it a name. Okay? Is it an array? Is it a single object? We're pulling out, telling the system, hey, we need a temporary game object, but this is the information that we're passing. So it's a game object, and then we're going, hey, asset bundle, take this string out and apply it to this game object variable. It gives us a game object. Because the button from the asset bundle is a game object. So game object up, instantiate temp at this.transform. This is a new instantiation. All it does is parent it to this transform. Wherever the script is, it parents automatically to this right here. So when I go to apply the script to this empty game object in the world, it will automatically parent what I'm instantiating from add button to this. Okay, if you've done any parenting, it's exactly like I have before. Okay, now this is just a simple update. Okay, remember, this is not required, this enum. We're just changing the enum to running. If get button down, fire 1, which is our mouse clicker, and can build equals true, we instantiate something, our build object, which is set by a button. Now, we haven't talked about yet. And then we got our cost thing, which is current cost. But build object is whatever our button has pushed to these variables. Okay? Which we're going to see the function for that pretty soon, I believe. Okay. Can build right here. Where is here's the one that we want. Public static void push to build requires a game object and a cache amounts scriptable object. Okay, which this sets the variables for the building. Okay, that's what it's instantiating and everything. And then we do the current cost, the scriptable object. We pass it the scriptable object. Okay, and then array hit is outside into a single variable. Can build is defaulted to false. And then the hit object I put right here. It's just a regular game object. Very simple function. Okay, and on fixed update runs on fixed update. This is right. This is being called by another class, but it's in a fixed update loop. Okay. The event system current is pointer over game object. This is so we don't do stuff when we're over a menu, which is, good and stuff. You don't want to instantiate something when you're trying to push a button. That's kind of dumb, right? This stops it right here. Okay. Can build equals false and then returns. So as soon as it hits this is true, it goes to can build, sets it to false, and then just returns. So it doesn't execute anymore. Okay. But if we're not over a UI element, it will do array, pretty simple stuff. Hit.transform does not equal null. So if our variable is null, it won't execute this code. And then can build equals gets past the can build is a function for current cost, hit.transform.game object, and then build layer, which is a variable up here, build layer, which these layer things are actually going to be outside of this class pretty soon. I haven't moved them yet, but you'll see that in a small iteration sometime. And this is just for hitting game objects. It's really simple code. Can build, well, guess what? If the amount variable is null, return false. If money.needAmount equals true and go layer equals layer, which is passed in, then return true. If any of these statements return false or anything like that, it automatically goes to false. So basically, in these if statements, if neither one of these return true, guess what? This returns false and can build the bool up here for telling the whole system, hey, can you build a game object into the world? It says false and says, see you, can't do nothing, blah, blah, blah. But we also compare for money too, and that stuff. We already discussed this one. Build mode, get build. See, our static reference up at the top is not public. Okay? It's not public. No public. So we have just basically a get function here. Okay? That anybody can call. Okay? And then we have an override close panel. Okay? And when the panel closes, we just set our enum to running off. But like I said, this is not required for anything. And we go this.gameObject.setActive equals false. I put this in an overridable method for one specific reason. If in my, let's say this build panel right here, if I want this game object to stay on all the time, okay? I want it to stay on all the time, but I want like a empty down here to shut off, to be deactivated. I could do that, okay? All I would have to do is change this right here. I could put a transform here, P, and then go well, for an example, it would be like p.transform.gameObject.setActive, and from setting active I would go false. Okay, I can override it that way and everything else. In other classes I do, okay, but in this class I used it exactly like this. It made it more flexible to do inheritance in that manner. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted, and it worked out really well. So this is the build script. Okay, so let's see what, oh, this is already in 30 minutes, yeah. So pretty easy rundown, the first iteration for it. I mean, all the rest of it is pretty much UI stuff, very simple, okay? And this is for the build panel right here. I mean, as you can see, there's only, a rect, an image, a horizontal, which you can play with any which way you want. And then you have the build mode script on here, which hardly has anything. You don't have to fill out any of these besides the enemy layer and the build layer. What layer you're using. Very simple. I mean, I know it's kind of fast, a rundown on this build mode script, but look, you have (162) lines of code, okay? Which, you could shorten down and stuff, but I figured with asset bundles being integrated into this like this, and, building the bundles, then that would be an issue for you. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is a script to build your asset bundles. Is it in here? No. Come on, where are you? Asset builder. Okay, this is the script that you need to build your asset bundles. Okay, this one right here. Okay, now depending on your system, if you're on a system that's not 64-bit Windows, then this code will work right here. Okay, it's very simple. You can pause and write it any which way you want. Okay, very easy. Alright, and then if you're on a 64 version, you'll use this. Okay, very easy. Okay, now the cost object is this code right here. Very simple. Okay, and then this you don't need. Ignore this code. So this is the cost object. If you're running on 64-bit Windows, you need this. Okay, very simple. Alright, and just a little hint, if you have this one right here, there's the only difference between these two is right here. Build target is if you hold on to this bar at the top and go to the very edge right here along the edge and then release, it'll do this. And then you can click on your editor. So you can sit there and watch YouTube stuff right on the edge and copy stuff down. Okay, very easy to do. So that's all the power to you guys. Just a little tip, that way I help you out. So I'm gonna cut this video, but this is Wardon over and out, and thank you very much for watching. Happy coding.